Most websites don't have a traffic problem, they have a conversion problem. So today, I'm going to show you how you can use AI to increase your conversion rate. And I'm not sharing vague advice. I'm talking specific, actionable changes you can apply immediately. In this video, we're gonna go through one of my favorite SaaS websites out there, Notion. And they're not just anybody. Notion is a massive software machine. They're bringing in $600 million of annual recurring revenue by this time of the year. But is their website as optimized as it could be? Let's find out. Before we actually start analyzing the website, I want to quickly take you through it. You can see this is what their homepage looks like. And you can see right here, they have two CTA buttons, get Notion for free, request a demo, okay. You can see here that the big logos of these companies who are obviously very important testimonials are pegged, so they don't actually move until you start scrolling down. They have a video here of a quick demo of the product, which I think is super useful, and I like that a lot. And then if you keep scrolling down, you will see here that they start introducing you to different features that they have available as part of their product. You then get to this part right here where you have your AI Everything app, which is obviously a statement from Forbes. This helps them a lot with enterprise contracts, I can imagine, and it's a nice to have. And then this is my favorite part of the whole website, which is a little interactive tool that lets you play around and see your savings, allegedly, because they claim that you can replace all of this software with a Notion software and you can get the same or a better output. And I think that's quite cool because it gives people a reason to actually interact with their websites. And that can help a lot when it comes to conversion. And then, yep, you scroll down, you see more testimonials from OpenAI and whatnot, so really big brands. And yep, a CTA right here for you to download Notion, and that's pretty much it. So my take here is that Notion actually has a really good website. I don't see many SaaS startups out there having a much better website than this. They obviously tap a lot into the fact that they have amazing testimonials from amazing companies that everybody knows, and that just emphasizes and reinforces customer trust and probably helps them with conversion as well. But what about the actual homepage? Does it flow naturally for the user? Is it easy for you to go from A to B and ultimately do what they want you to do, which is to convert into a sign up and eventually to a paid plan? For that, Talk to Me Data is a website that helps you increase the conversion of your website by looking at different aspects of how it is interacting with the internet, but also interacting with your users. And there's many aspects of it. Without going too much into detail, I'm just going to show you right here. What I'm going to do is add the Notion website right here, and I'm going to hit analyze. And this is going to take approximately 60 seconds to run, but it's going to give us a very comprehensive analysis with a lot of data points that we can look at. And I'm going to go through the report and I'm going to show you how reliable it is, but also what are the data points that we can take away that we could then go ahead and implement on the Notion website. All right, so we have the result here, and the overall website scored is 78%. This is a pretty high score, but I could imagine Notion would be a little higher than that. I could imagine them being at roughly 85, 90%. So there's a lot to unpack here. Let's start by scrolling down a little and seeing the first section of the report. This highlights key strengths as well as areas of opportunity. And without going too in depth into this section, because I think that the ones below are the ones that bring the most amount of value. You can see here in key strengths, it highlights that there's a strong AI focused value proposition, okay. One workspace, zero busy work, that's kind of their tag. Comprehensive navigation structure, great. Excellent social proof, it's what I was mentioning. They have very good testimonials. High internal link density, which is also great for SEO, and well-optimized meta descriptions and characters. Okay, great. In terms of areas of opportunity, there's quite a few things that can be improved. So critical image optimization needed. There's a lot of missing alt texts in a lot of images. 46% of them are missing. This is quite surprising, so we're gonna test that out very shortly. Zero schema markup implementation. Schema markup is essentially a fancy way of saying that the data is not structured in a way that makes it easy for Google or other scrapers to essentially digest it and understand it quickly. So there's definitely here an opportunity for improvement in the way they structured their web page, but maybe there's a reason behind those choices. The page weight is a little bit high because they do use a lot of images, a lot of logos, a lot of GIFs, videos. He also highlights here that the CTA messaging is inconsistent. I did notice that they use some level of vague text that could be probably optimized, and limited block content strategy. I didn't actually pay much attention to this, but okay, they could have more blocks. Great. Let's actually scroll down and see what the next stage of the report tells us. Here we get to recommended actions. Now, what I really like about this section of the report is the fact that it not only gives you the recommended action, but the expected impact as well as the effort level it normally takes to take that action. So this one, for example, add descriptive alt text to all 16 missing image alt attributes. Okay, cool. That could improve your SEO ranking between 10 and 15% and improve accessibility compliance. And it's medium effort because you do have to go through every single image that doesn't have alt text and add it. But this one, the second one, implement organization and product schema markup for the main page to enhance search result appearance. That can lead to between 15 and 25% of increased CTR. That's actually quite good and it's low effort as well. So I might just bring up Notion's team and be like, hey guys, can you just do this? It'll probably help you. But yeah, there's other recommended actions right here. I'm not gonna go through all of them in detail because what I'm really interested in is the section that comes below this next section, which is recommended A/B tests. Now this right here is ultimately, it can generate a positive impact. Maybe it won't, because A/B testing is all about this. It's if you know that there's a section of your website that's not quite being optimized as well, and you're not sure which path to take, that's what A/B tests are for, right? You test one thing, you test the other, you measure the results and you say, okay, we're going in this direction. And all AI is doing right here is saying, we've identified these things that we're not quite sure of. We do think you should probably A/B test in these two directions. So it's quite good. It can generate improvements. It may not. The goats of A/B testing are probably Airbnb. They've done this extensively over the past 10 years, and they've become quite good at conversion. But now we go into this next section. I think this is super important because we're looking at Notion as an example, but this is super, super actionable. So if you're watching, you have your own website, you might want to run this report on your own website, but also try to understand the types of things that do affect conversion and then try to optimize your website towards that. And the first thing that jumps to my eye right here is page speed. Now, page speed has a massive impact on your website's conversion, because for every second that your website is delayed when it comes to loading, it will cause a drop-off. That drop-off can be 7%, it can be 10%, it can be 20%. Either way, it's never going to be good. And I think one of the main reasons why the Notion's website is so low, 78% in overall score, which is low for them, I think it's mainly because of this, page speed. And you can see here the reasons behind it are 35 total images, that's a lot of images for a homepage, 16 of them are missing alt text, okay, 4,000 plus characters of body text. That's a lot of content. That's very, very heavy. 11 content section create multiple render blocking elements that could delay page interactivity. Fair. My internet is quite quick, so I didn't experience any of that. But there's a lot of people out there that as soon as your internet drops a little bit, maybe it takes a longer time to load and people can drop off. I'm going to take this with a pinch of salt. And what I'm going to do right now is actually load the Notion page with page speed. And page speed is kind of by Google, if I'm not mistaken. And this is normally the ultimate source of truth when it comes to assessing the speed and the performance of a website. So I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna copy the Notion website, put it right here and load, let's analyze. And I'm gonna get the results right here. Yeah, as you can see, Google is telling me the exact same thing. It's 66 versus 65% in the Talk to Me data report, but ultimately the result is the same. It could be optimized, it could be improved. And I can see here if I scroll down, they have the largest contentful paint. It's very high, 6.2 seconds. Here's 2 seconds, okay. Speed index, 4.7 seconds, which means sometimes it can take almost 5 seconds for the website to load, at least on mobile. And that's a really long time, especially for a company making over $500 million a year. And since we're talking so much about this, I actually want to go to their website again. And I'm gonna click on the NVIDIA logo right here. And I'm gonna check if they have alt text. So I can see it's right here and I can see alt here. This is HTML if I'm not mistaken. This is not, it doesn't say this is the NVIDIA logo. So it doesn't allow for Google to instinctively understand what it is. And I think they probably have this going on across many of the other images, many of the other 35 images. According to AI, 16 of them don't have a classification or an alt description. So if you have a website and you have a lot of content in your homepage, you might want to make sure that one, you have all the alt text in your images, 2, do you really need 35 images there? Maybe you need 12 and they'll do the job. And 3, how fast is your website loading in general? But moving on to the second point, which is SEO score. I'm seeing here 72%. Okay, so meta title, optimal length, which is great, only 2 blog links, 0 schema. So this is the problem, is the schema markup. So I think they are missing an element in their backend that allows Google to essentially understand the structure of the website better, faster, and that helps with SEO in general. If we scroll down, we then go into the next section, which is where Notion really starts excelling. Score 82%. This is really, really good. The recommendations are simple: reduce navigation complexity by grouping related items. Okay. Add breadcrumb navigation to help users understand their location within the extensive content structure, and implement sticky navigation. Okay, so it's nothing major. It's simple things that can be slightly adjusted so that the website becomes a little bit clearer for the user and from a user experience perspective. And then messaging review. This one is always a little bit subjective, I feel, but ultimately all the AI is saying here is they can probably take some advantage by standardizing different CTAs, strengthening the H2 messaging by adding specific AI benefits instead of just features, increasing the clarity of features, and adding urgency and elements to the primary CTAs. But overall, 85% is a pretty strong result. The next section here talks about structure and layout. So yes, 80%, really strong score again. Some of the recommendations are to recognize content sections, to follow problem solution proof structure, which is sort of a classic SaaS structure funnel, let's say, and lead with pain points, then AI solutions, then social proof. I think they do it pretty well. They've structured it in a way that's a little funky, but I think it works for Notion. So perhaps these recommendations wouldn't fit them so well. And then mobile responsiveness, I mean, yeah, it's going to be strong no matter what. But we already know that they have some navigation problems with features that are not loading super fast, and therefore it's causing their performance to be a little bit lower. Still, 75 is very strong. Some of the recommendations here are break extensive body content into expandable sections or tabs for better mobile content consumption. Fair. It is pretty long, the website. Can be a lot of finger scrolling. So yes, I do understand the recommendation here. But yeah, from what I can see, what brings the average down is really just the speed. It's the fact that the website is heavy, a lot of images, a lot of videos, missing alt tags, missing schema, and that brings their average to 78, which again, is still a very strong website result. It's just that it could easily be 85 to 90% if they had some of the basics in place. But very quickly, just to take you here to the last section, CTAs. They have very good CTAs in my opinion. They have strong CTAs across the websites and they tend to lean towards a certain direction. And here what the AI analysis is saying is essentially, hey, replace some vague CTAs like play with specific actions like watch AI demo or see Notion in action. Does that make sense? I think it does. I think it probably could help. How much? I'm not sure. Implement CTA hierarchy with 2 to 3 primary actions, okay, sign up demo, okay, and then add urgency and social proof to main CTAs. Join 100 million plus users, or and start for free instead of generic get Notion for free. I think that makes sense, honestly. For the people who scroll too fast and haven't seen the amazing testimonials they have on their website, I think start for free is probably something that all of us use, but Notion has that unique ability to say, join over 100 million people for free. Why don't you give it a go? So for them, it could probably make a lot of sense. Some of the takes that we've discussed are obviously subjective, but what I wanted to do in this video is break down apart a website that I consider to be top-notch and then say, okay, what are the things that realistically we could take actions on to improve? If you want to run a report through your own website, feel free to go ahead to Talk to Me Data. I'll leave the website in the description. I built it myself and you get a free report for your website when you sign up. So go ahead, give it a try. Let me know in the comments if it was useful or not, if this is something that you're interested in seeing more of, if there's any specific questions that you have, or if you'd like to chat, just drop me a message and we'll connect. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.